Hello viewers and welcome to our preview of Dirt 4. Finally we've got our hands on, not long now until launch, and it is the first proper hands-on team BVV of Dirt 4 and seeing what it's all about. So I'm going to break down the game. First half of this video is looking at the gamer handling. Second half we'll look at the sim handling. So kicking off then with the rally, you get an introduction video to the rally section, and then you see here the new Your Stage generator. This is very interesting in terms of the length and complexity of the stages. Turns out all the actual stages, including the career mode, are actually made using this system. So very interesting there. I had a little muck about with the different sliders, but it doesn't mean anything to me until we have real time, you've got one at at home you can test and everything. But either way, great in the way it develops the various different stages. You can also see there the various different types of rally cars, old, new, different power, different challenges to drive, and visually looks stunning. When you think this is an auto stage generator, amazing how it pieces it all together and makes it look authentic and real. And it has, you see the way the road is sort of carved into the landscape, nice detail in the foliage. Amazing work from Codemasters in making this system work. As we race around Australia, always a classic from the original Colin McRae rally. I loved the Australian, for me in the original Colin McRae rally I loved Australia, and New Zealand was probably my favourite stage. I don't know why, I just like the gravel, the look, the feel, and this kind of reminds me of that. It had a real sort of fun feel to it. The gamer handling I'm using here was intuitive. It had that sort of Dirt feel to it, Dirt 3 style, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love Dirt, I found it loads of fun. You don't always want something hardcore like Dirt Rally. It's nice to have this fun and get more people into the rally genre. I know a lot of people that played Dirt Rally and just fell off the road 10 times and then gave up before even completing a stage. They just found it such hard work. Whereas on here, at least, if you make a mistake, you can sort of save yourself a bit. There's not too much inertia dragging you off the course. You also have a wonderful selection of replay angles. You can choose to watch the entire replay from the helicopter cam if you want, but you also have all the other variety of replay angles. Again, automatic replay generator system really, and it works really well. So very impressed with that, and it always makes it look a bit better in the replay. I wasn't pushing all that hard, I was looking more for clean driving, but either way makes it look a bit more intense in the replays. Replays run at 30 frames per second on the console, just to have a bit more in the way of particle effects and detail, stuff like that, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I like the way things look, and they can have that extra detail, but also often like that bit of frame rate as well. But on the PC we can have that. So onto the Land Rush then, bit of Baja. They've got several different vehicles on the Land Rush. This is another thing to look at. Here we are here in one of the buggies. Been looking forward to driving these. I enjoyed the buggies again in Dirt 3. Again, visuals are very nice. From in-car cockpit, you can see the view's quite limited. Certainly want to keep your wits about you. And also you're going to notice when I'm racing just how difficult it is to see. In fact, I consider the cockpit cam to be a little bit of a handicap in many respects. It's much easier to drive from outside the car. Obviously all the driving you're seeing on this video is done with a control pad, and it handles perfectly with a control pad, much like Gran Turismo Sport was. I mean, the handling with a control pad is fine. I could play this with a pad every bit as much as playing it with a wheel. Works really well, and you can see there by dust particles and stuff blocking your view as you get a couple of cars. Obviously I don't know the course, I can't see where I'm going. Where am I going? No idea where the next corner is, and it is quite challenging from inside the car, but really nice to see, in terms of the detail, the physics, the way they put it all together. And you can see here overall visual look. When you go outside the car, you get the nice look at the buggy itself, how it's working, and a much better view of the course ahead. So this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed driving these. It's nice to have the serious rally, but it's also nice to have the fun off-road stuff, I think, especially online with your friends, and again getting new people into it. Dirt Rally, as I say, was very hard, very unforgiving, so it's nice to have some other modes to get into. And I got on top of this very quickly, controlling the power into the corners, very intuitive, and again not too much of the whole weight sort of dragging you off if you make a mistake. It's much more forgiving in terms of the the look and feel of the cars. Again, the replays running at 30 frames here, but lots of detail. Nice to see all the cars running together. Nice replay angles, very intense. And seeing that running, we were just looking at. I love a good replay, as many of you know, and we'll have a couple of multicams, something like that, probably coming up at some point. And I look forward to testing it with my wheel on the PC. That's going to be interesting just to see how well it performs on the PC version. Should look great, as everything does. Always great tech from Codemasters. You'll see one of the AIs crashing in the background there. It's nice to see throughout the races. I was seeing the AI were fallible in their own way. Not stupid as such, but they would make expected errors at times, which was nice to see. You know, sometimes the AI is just on a perfect line going off into the distance. But a key element to the game. And of course there are other types of buggies. There's these mini buggies that are in the game as well, which I hadn't seen before, and they were really hard to drive. I mean, really difficult to drive, these things. I done a race and I span out, did it again, span out, and in the end I had to ride the brake. Riding the brake was the only way to actually get these cars to turn and get on the power. They had massive rear wheel power, shot in a straight line, but were very challenging to get through the corners. As soon as you came off the power, if you weren't already on the brake, the rear end would just spin round and you'd go backwards into the corner. You could control a slide, and that would require a lot of skill, but you can do it. I did it by accident by just doing a normal braking and turning in, and loads of opposite lock, and managed to make it, but it was more luck than judgment. So on this particular run, I was using the tried and tested brake riding technique, which wasn't necessarily the quickest, but the AI were super quick on these. Again, I like the intense cockpit cam. You had a nice field of view of the action, and there are various options for the cockpit as well in terms of camera shake, which you can turn off, HUD options and all that. As I get taken out there, I got taken out predominantly, I couldn't really see, there's so much smoke and dust coming up. So like the buggies you saw earlier, I decided to opt for this behind car view. Don't know the circuit, but learning my way around. And again, not the easiest to learn when you're trapped in that sort of field of dust and you don't know the course. Visually very similar in terms of the dust and the dirt and the look to the Baja course. And that's one issue with all three courses. They are very similar. And of course there's mini courses within these different locations as well. You can see me there just trapped in a plume of dust. It's really nice to see the different particle effects that they have. Of course, another element besides the land rush modes is the official license of the World Rallycross Championship, World RX. So racing here. And this was my first race with improved handling this time. Again, I'm using the gamer handling. Just working my way around. Very playable, very satisfying. As I got into the demo, I found what you really have to do is oversteer in the corner and then just get on the power, and the car handles it really well. Very intuitive, worked very well for me. Around the outside. And again there, just getting in nice and early. I got better as it went on. I learned the course and didn't know the way around the course. This is my first ever lap doing it. But it was very intuitive. You know, the courses are relatively simple, and the quicker you get, the more fun it is in terms of just throwing the car into those corners. You can really go at some speed into them. I'll come around here to do my joker through there. But felt very nice racing around on those, and of course you have nice replays as well. So seeing all the detail, all the action. And I believe there are 6 courses in the game, but I wasn't able to test all the courses on this occasion, mainly just this and Liddon Hill, and we're going to look at that in a future video as well. So there will be a little bit more content testing it, maybe with a wheel where I test out the rallycross sim handling, which I don't believe I'm testing on in this video, mainly because with the sim handling it's very difficult to get it just with the controller. I mean, For me, because I use a wheel, it's nice to see how intuitive it is with a wheel, with the full sort of sim handling. But either way, a lot of fun to play. And then finally, you have the historic rally car class. So I went in an old Mini, had a little tour here. And again, very intuitive with the gamer handling. A lot of fun to play. And it makes a nice sort of respite from the intense challenge of the dirt rally style handling. And of course, all of these classes that you've seen, you can just switch from gamer handling to the sim handling model. So I work my way round here. And again, it was nice, you know, these stages auto-generated, but it still gave you that feeling of the journey, as I put it. You know, I go up a hill and I go down hills here, and I have nice views of mountains in the distance, and it's really nice to see. It's nice to see how it works. It's nice to see how it all comes together, and you really do feel like you've been on that journey by the end of the stage. And the stages can be quite long as well. I mean, you can see here by my pace here, this stage went on for quite some time, but I really enjoyed it. Just enjoyed the whole thing. So we're going to have more video coverage coming up on the channel with a separate look at the gamer handling and the sim handling. So you can see me struggling more with the sim handling stuff, but either way, enjoying them both immensely. And then you have the replays again, these nice helicopter cam replays as well. Really impressed with how it all came together in terms of the stage system. And of course, once we get the final code, we'll be looking at it and then giving you guys a review and what we think of it so far. But at this stage, I'm just previewing it, so really just a look at the contents. Well, we've had a chance to play it all, and there's a lot I haven't played yet. I haven't played the night driving, I haven't played different weather conditions. There's lots of cars and car classes I haven't played, so there's a lot to look at there. Now we move on to the sim handling. Okay, so we're on to the newly refined dirt rally handling. So they've refined the handling since dirt rally to make it even more challenging and intuitive. And they've tried to improve on all surfaces, and they feel they have. For me, driving, it felt more intuitive. It really depended on the car you were driving. As anyone knows who plays dirt rally, some cars are far easier to drive than others. You know, so this particular car felt quite playable, and you know, as you can see, runs really well, running through Wales. And then I recorded unfortunately my best run of the day actually was this. I was sitting talking to Paul Coleman about the game designer, and while I was talking to him, I had no audio, I must point out. On all these videos you've seen here, I had a very, very low audio. I just could barely hear what was going on, so I just sat and had a chat with him and did my best stage of the day. It always happens when you're chatting to somebody that you end up doing that without even realizing. But it was just intuitive. I got faster and faster as the stage went on. It was just touring it, and yeah, it just clicks, you know, and the handling sort of comes together, and you get a better idea on how to achieve it and get more speed out of the handling. So worked really well, and nice to see the way it's all come together in the final game. Obviously this was a slower rally car than some of the others in terms of its outright pace. You've got the full super powered, more modern cars. There's lots in there in terms of the ranges of cars that are in there. A lot of them were locked, unfortunately. You had to unlock them in career, and I didn't have time to go into all the career stuff. But again, that's something we'll look at in the review. But either way, I really enjoyed this. It was good fun. A lot more challenging than it looks on the handling. Really sort of balancing the brakes and controlling it through various different corners. It's funny, isn't it? You know, you're throwing the car in with the gamer handling, and then you change to the sim handling, and you're being so much more progressive on all of your controls. Sweden here, again, very challenging. And again, there'll be some no comment content coming up on the channel, so not to fear, there will be some content of me not talking. Once I've delivered all the core information to you guys. So it'll be interesting to see what the other guys think of this as well, because they've played quite a lot of dirt rally. This was quite challenging, very narrow, and you know, without any practice, you got one run, that's it, record that. So this was quite challenging to run. It's so narrow, you know, you nibble the edge either side and suddenly you're rolling the car. So on this handling system it was a challenge. Be interesting to see what it's like again, you know, doing a time with the gamer handling and then going back doing the same car and course with the sim handling to see the difference in times that are available. But again, nice views, seeing the road winding off into the distance. So I came back to the Land Rush now with the sim handling. These are the 4-wheel drive trucks. Again, really nice detail on the trucks here. And immediately I found it good fun on the power, good fun to play. The truck was immediately more loose, it was moving around more, there was a lot more weight to it, there was a lot more movement, a lot more challenge, and you know, I found it really good fun to play. Got knocked off the course there by that scum taking me out. Never mind, get back into the race. I'm so competitive. No, I got back into the race and I won it. But no, I enjoyed it actually, and I found it a lot of fun. Yeah, in a way, I really like these aspects. I'd say it's the one aspect I wanted more of in the final game, was more Land Rush tracks. There's no Trailblazer in this version as well, and I was a big fan of the Trailblazer in Dirt 3, so it's one thing probably I miss a bit, and I'll probably talk about that in future videos. But either way, it was nice to see what these trucks are like with the sim handling, and you realise just how few games like this, dirt games like this, exist with sim handling really. So certainly something to build upon in the future. In a way, you'd almost like to see it as a standalone game. I then tried rear-wheel drive trucks. And pulling away, altogether more challenging, the rear-wheel drive. I think I go into a corner here, get on the power and suddenly do what I was doing a minute ago, and suddenly, wow, okay, that's how that works. And now I have to fight my way from the back, close up on the other field, and I do. This took a bit more getting used to in terms of braking, turning in, gently getting on the power, controlling opposite lock on the exit. You know, you really needed to keep yourself pointing in the right direction, but as soon as you got the hang of it, it was much more intuitive, much more challenging, but ultimately more rewarding to drive. So this was one of my favourite things in Dirt 4 actually, was driving these trucks with the sim handling, and it gave it a uniqueness that's not in so many other games in terms of this style of truck and this style of handling model. So I'm working my way around there. See, the AI's clearly made a mistake there as well. But all running really nicely, 60 frames of course in the main game. You can see a little bit of the replay here as well. So that's an overview of Dirt 4. We've looked at all the different cars and classes and bits and pieces that are in there. There's still a lot more to discover. We look forward to cracking open the career mode, seeing what online is like, testing the many different cars on both gamer and the sort of sim handling model as well. There's still a lot to discover in Dirt 4, but our first hands-on, and it's good to finally get a feel for it. Overall, a fun dirt game, and something for dirt rally fans it seems to get stuck into as well. It'll be interesting because you have the new random stages. You can't learn the stages like you did in Dirt Rally. You know, a lot of the people were very quick in Dirt Rally, may not have been quick originally. They were quick when they learned the stages, but now you've got random stages. It'll be interesting to see how many players enjoy that challenge and really listening to their co-driver, and also there's lots of options in there to improve your experience throughout. We're going to look at that on a future version of the game, but that's it from me for now. As ever, more soon.